Welcome to Wednesday. It's December 4th, 2024. Your Day Weather Podcast brought to you by Converse County Tourism. Douglas and Glen Rock, Wyoming are bustling with action this holiday season. Plan your excursion, including fun activities, beautiful downtowns, and historic treasures. Learn more at conversecountytourism.com. Well, more nice weather, more beautiful sunrises and sunsets, and really nothing to worry about weather-wise for a few more days over most of the Intermountain West and the Western High Plains. There is going to be another significant cold air surge out of Canada that's headed into the nation's midsection. They're pretty cold in the eastern side of the U.S., while we're pretty nice here in the west, and that's going to continue through Saturday. Then a Pacific trough will start to impact the region late Saturday as it spreads south Sunday into Monday. This will bring about a weather pattern change. It'll be noticeably colder. There's going to be some snow. The source region of this system, though, is not a very moist one, so this is going to favor the high country. I think the high country is going to see a bit of snow, not a lot, some. There'll be a little bit of lower elevation snow, but it's going to be disorganized, kind of spotty. But it is going to change things up this front from the mild and dry to something resembling a little bit more like December, as it's going to take a bit longer for that cold weather pattern in the central and eastern United States to work itself out. The weather pattern isn't really going to change much until that happens. Beautiful views from Montana to Wyoming and really throughout all of the West. As a beautiful shot there from Big Timber. From Gillette, just a spectacular shot there. Great cloudscape photo here from Jan Curtis and Cheyenne yesterday. There's a lot going on, a lot of different cloud types in that photo. Our western vistas not disappointing this early winter season at all. Satellite imagery this morning looks a lot like yesterday. You can see where the cold is with the blue. And you can see how it's lined up from the northwest to the southeast as we have low stratus clouds, flurries, very cold air. See the cold coming into areas of Minnesota, the eastern Dakotas. And this is the next dagger of cold heading out of Canada, but a big high pressure ridge here in the west. Now, if we were to back up and take a larger, more broad perspective of the northern hemisphere, well, you can see there's plenty of weather waiting here in the Pacific that wants to come towards North America, but this high pressure ridge is causing it to stall out and get forced up into Alaska and Canada. And this is going to be the case here for the next couple of days. Once this ridge breaks down, this weather out here will start to at least make the effort to head east back onto the continent. But for a little bit longer, this high pressure ridge is going to be very impressive. There it is. We have this upper low in Arizona, just mainly causing a lot of mid and high level clouds. And boy, you can see the gradient right here. Very strong jet stream winds aloft, driving very cold air right out of Hudson Bay. Right out of Hudson Bay into Wisconsin, Minnesota, the Great Lakes region, the Dakotas. So basically, you get along and east of that line, it is going to be a lot colder. West of that line, a lot more mild. And you can see the cold. This is by 5 o'clock Mountain Time this afternoon. So for you folks in Montana, you're going to get a little bit of this. Certainly the Dakotas, and then up into the upper Midwest and Plain states. So you can see the temperature anomaly by this evening, and then by Thursday evening, you can see the extent, the push of that cold air. Notice where it's going. East of the Rockies out into the plains. While the Canadian Rockies, the U.S. Rockies, down here into Mexico, this axis of mild temperatures and dry conditions. So the cold is certainly going to be focused in the east. These are pretty cold temperatures for even early December in that part of the United States. And this is where the precipitation is going to be. This will be more of a snow factory as more Arctic air overspreads the Great Lakes, more lake effect snows and snows in New England and the Northeast and into the Appalachians here. You're going to be looking at some snow even into West Virginia and Western North Carolina again. Lighter snow flurries in the Arctic surge in the northern areas. But you have to get to the lakes to see anything significant. But for the next few days, a large part of the central and western United States, just nothing going on. Now here's the trough coming in. This is by early morning Sunday. So it's moving into Washington. We have the high pressure ridge now, not over the Rockies, but rebuilding and reforming over the eastern Pacific. So that's what we need. Now notice the trough in the east that currently is right there lifts to the north and east back up into Canada. So what this does is this is allowing room for weather to come back into the west. The question is well, how much weather is going to be able to get off the Pacific and into the west? Well, at least initially, we've got this frontal system and trough that'll come on in from British Columbia and slide southeast. So by Sunday morning, the Pacific Northwest, Montana, northwestern Wyoming, eastern Idaho, you're going to feel the effects of this trough in front, even parts of northern Utah here with some developing showers, some wind, and some colder temperatures. This system is really not much of a weather maker as it comes out into the plains. This will be the main weather maker, bringing in the cold and not a lot, but a little bit of moisture. By Monday morning, so by Sunday morning, Monday morning, you can see northerly wind flow aloft is coming right into the interior west. So this will allow colder air to come in. This is more of a Pacific air mass than an Arctic one. So yes, it'll be colder. Noticeably so. It won't be bitter cold though, because the source region for the cold air is not continental in terms of at least the initial push. However, this is certainly a different scenario than we're experiencing right now. So while it may not be terribly cold and it may not be terribly snowy with this system, it's going to change things up. By Monday afternoon, these are the temperature anomalies. Not severely cold, but certainly enough to make you notice that, yeah, maybe it is December. This is what the snowfall forecast looks like between the beginning of the system and by late Tuesday. So you can see it's really favoring the mountain ranges. The higher terrain is going to be the areas that get most of the snow out of this. Lighter snows will make the plains, and this will be enough in the Sunday, Monday, early Tuesday time frame for some hazardous travel in some areas. Again, not a big storm system. You usually don't get a big one after a prolonged period like this. It's usually the second or third one afterwards where the systems are going to be a little bit bigger. But do expect during the second half of the weekend and early next week for this nice weather to come to an end. We'll have more for you tomorrow. Have a good Wednesday.